Bgmc. The biblical truth lives here.
The ancient Hebrew scriptures foretold of the Anointed One, Yeshua HaMashiach. The Messiah Yeshua came to call the people back to the truth of His word and to follow that righteous path. Yeshua then called Jewish men to be His disciples, and after His death and resurrection, those Jewish men told the world about the Jewish Messiah. Now, after 2,000 years, Beth Goyim Messianic congregation has that same calling of those Jewish men, telling all people, both Jew and Gentile, about the proper ancient path, teaching the Route 66 King's Highway from Genesis through to Revelation, and how you need and can get back to the proper roots of the faith and a closer walk with God. Now, let's hear the message.
Let's go get a blessing. Turn to the book of Bereshit, Genesis chapter 7.
Vámonos al libro de Génesis, Bereshit capítulo 7.
This is the City Gate Messianic Bible Study.
Este es el estudio mesiánico bíblico de las puertas de la ciudad.
Parasha number 5M.
Parasha número 5M.
Someday we will be finished with this parasha.
Algún día terminaremos con esta parasha.
And then I've been asked to teach on Galatians next.
Y se me ha pedido el estudiar el libro de Gálatas.
So then we'll spend a couple of months in Galatas, in Galatians.
Vamos a pasar unos meses en Gálatas.
Okay, but we're on slide number 120, so download the latest version.
Estamos en la diapositiva 120, entonces bajen el PowerPoint más reciente.
I think by the time we're done with Parasha number 5, we'll have 200 slides.
Yo creo que cuando terminemos esta parasha vamos a tener 200 diapositivas.
Okay, so we're going to review a little bit and then move on with the study.
Vamos a hacer una pequeña revisión y después continuaremos con el estudio.
We're in Bereshit, Genesis chapter 7, verse 10 through 12.
Estamos en Génesis capítulo 7, versículos 10 al 12.
After 7 days, the water flooded the earth. On the 17th day of the second month of the 600th year of Noah's life, all the fountains of the great deep were broken up. Excuse me, and the windows of the sky were opened. It rained on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. So 2 weeks ago we were talking about this 17th day of the second month.
2 semanas atrás estábamos hablando acerca de este día 17 del mes segundo.
And we were trying to discern what was the purpose.
Y tratábamos de discernir el propósito del tiempo.
Because Jehovah does not He doesn't randomly pick a day.
Porque Jehová no escoge un día a la ligera.
Okay, so the 17th day of the second month.
El día 17 del segundo mes.
Okay, in the second month we talked about 2 weeks ago.
En las 2 semanas atrás hablábamos del segundo mes.
Is that when you can't eat Pesach because you're unclean for some purpose.
Se celebra la Pascua en el segundo mes cuando tú no puedes celebrar la primera porque estás impuro.
Then you can celebrate the Pesach in the second month.
Entonces tú puedes celebrar la Pascua en el segundo mes.
That is the only holy day that you can do a second time.
Ese es el único día santo que puedes celebrarlo en un siguiente mes.
No other holy day can you celebrate it in another month.
En ningún otro día santo lo puedes celebrar en otro mes.
So we're trying to establish, what was the purpose of the 17th day of the second month?
Estábamos tratando de establecer el significado del día 17 del segundo mes.
Okay, so we established that the 17th day.
Establecimos que en el día 17.
That was the day that Yeshua rose from the grave.
Era el día en que Yeshua resucitó de la muerte.
In the first month.
En el primer mes.
Okay. Now, to understand Pesach.
Ahora para entender la Pascua.
Because this coming year, right now.
Porque en este año que viene.
Pesach is going to be at the end of Shabbat on April 20th.
La fecha va a ser al final de Shabbat en abril 20, 20
Yeah,
20th?
20.
20.
Yeah, it's going to be, well, so we'll figure out what to do,
Vamos a ver qué hacer,
okay? Because we got to cook the lamb
porque tenemos que cocinar el
and
cordero
all the other stuff, all the other
y
fun
las
stuff.
otras cosas.
But what Pesach and the Bikurim,
Pero Pesach y el Bikurim,
the day that Yeshua rose from the grave was the Bikurim,
el día que Yeshua resucitó de la muerte es en Bikurim,
that day can change.
ese día puede cambiar.
There's no static date for the Bikurim
No hay un día estable o ya puesto para el Bikurim,
because Pesach this past year was, I think, on Wednesday.
porque la Pascua
I
el
can't
año
remember, Tuesday or
pasado
Wednesday. Anyway,
fue como un jueves o un miércoles.
okay, so that means the Shabbat of Passover would be a few days later.
El Shabbat de Passover, I'm sorry.
The Shabbat of Passover would be a few days later.
El Shabbat de Passover sería después de unos días.
But this,
Después del Shabbat de Passover.
but this coming year, if the moon is sighted when it is on the calendar, which we sight the moon,
Pero este año si la luna es vista como vemos la luna,
you're going to have to wait a full 7 days to have the Bikurim.
vamos a tener que esperar un ciclo de 7 días para tener la festividad de Bikurim.
So when Yeshua rose from the grave was the 17th day of the first month.
Entonces Yeshua resucitó de la muerte en el día 17 del primer mes.
So as we're looking at verse 10,
Como miramos en el versículo
verse 11, I'm sorry.
11,
On the 17th day of the second month of the 600-year Noah's life, all the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of the sky were opened. So we have a specific time,
tenemos un tiempo específico.
okay? So we're trying to go, okay, why did Jehovah do this?
Estamos tratando de ver por qué Jehová hizo esto.
Because Jehovah knows the entire plan of everything that's going to happen from now until the end of time.
Porque Jehová comprende el plan completo desde el principio hasta el final.
So here he's wiping out the earth with the flood.
Aquí Él está limpiando por completo el mundo con el diluvio.
So we have the first establishment of this, the first time we see the 17th day of the second month here in verse 11.
Aquí vemos la primera vez el establecimiento del
Oh.
segundo mes, el día 17 del segundo mes.
Okay, so if we follow the pattern established for the first Pesach,
Si vemos el patrón y es establecido la primera Pascua,
then 3 days following the second Pesach would also be what you would know as April 17th.
lo que sigue de los 2 días después. 3 días después de la Pascua sería 17.
Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. We're reviewing that. We're not going to spend another full 2 hours on that.
Okay, vamos a seguir.
All right, now we're going to go to verse 11.
Ahora vamos al versículo 11.
Okay, on the 17th day of the second month of the 600th year of Noah's life, all the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of the sky were opened. Okay, so we now have the establishment of the 600th year of Noah's life, right?
Ahora tenemos también el establecimiento de los 600 años de Noé.
So we know that he had 3 sons at the age of 500.
Sabemos que él tiene 3 hijos en el año 500, cuando él tiene 500 años de edad,
Which in itself is something amazing as it is.
que es muy sorprendente así como se oye.
Okay, but now, as we talked about last week,
Pero ahora, así como hablábamos la semana pasada,
because everybody that looks at a map, you know, when the earth is laid out on a map flat. The earth is not flat,
que la tierra no es plana.
but when you look at a map and it's flat,
Cuando lo ves en un mapa es plana.
you look at Brazil, looks like it can fit into the continent of Africa.
Y te puedes dar cuenta que Brasil pareciera como que puede encajar con el continente africano.
Because at one time, it was part of Africa.
Porque en un tiempo fue parte de África.
Okay, so here the fountains were broken up, so the earth broke from the inside.
Entonces aquí vemos que las fuentes se rompieron, entonces la tierra se rompió desde adentro para afuera.
Okay, and the fountains were H4599.
Y las fuentes en hebreo es H4599.
It's mayim,
es mayim,
Okay? It means spring.
significa manantial.
So that means water comes from inside the earth to flood the earth.
Significa que el agua sale de la tierra, de dentro de la tierra para inundar a la tierra.
Now, when we did earlier parts of Bereshit Genesis,
Entonces, cuando vimos unas partes antes de Génesis,
we realized that it had never rained on the earth.
aprendimos que no había llovido antes.
The water came up from inside the earth to water the plants.
El agua subía desde dentro de la tierra para regar las plantas.
So here we see in verse 11
Aquí vemos en el versículo 11
that Jehovah is breaking the earth apart
que Jehová está rompiendo, dividiendo la tierra,
and he's allowing the water to escape from inside the earth to flood the land.
y está permitiendo que las aguas escapen de adentro para inundar toda la tierra.
Okay, let's go on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Let's read verse 11 again.
Leamos el versículo 11 otra vez.
On the 17th day of the second month of the 600th year of Noah's life, all the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of the sky were opened. So the next part we're looking at to review again, I'm going a little fast
La próxima parte que tenemos que revisar también,
because we spent over 2 hours on this 2 weeks ago.
y es solo una revisión porque pasamos 2 horas y media en este tema.
So now the fountains of the great deep were broken up.
Ahora las fuentes de la gran profundidad fueron rotas.
And that, for the word deep,
Ahora vamos a ver a la palabra profundidad.
is H8415.
Es la palabra H8415.
And that is the Hebrew word tahom.
Es la palabra hebrea tahom.
It means the deep,
Profundidad,
deep places,
lugares profundos,
the abyss.
el abismo.
So the very deep of the ocean was broken up.
La profundidad del océano fue lo que se rompió.
And when you see pictures from submarines, you get to see the mountains that are down there.
Y si ves en fotografías que han tomado submarinos, puedes darte cuenta que las montañas que están ahí en la profundidad del océano.
There are some fish that live in the abyss.
Hay algunos
They're weird
especies de
looking.
peces que viven en el abismo, pero son raros.
They make their own light.
Ellos hacen su propia luz.
Because light will only go so far into the water.
Porque la luz va a llegar solamente hasta un cierto punto en el agua.
But some of the pictures are amazing of what's the mountains that are down there.
Algunas fotografías son impresionantes de las montañas que hay abajo del océano.
But what is interesting about this is that there's water inside the earth.
Lo que es interesante de esto es que existe agua dentro de la tierra.
And what's been happening around the globe with the sinkholes, a lot of it's been happening in lakes and even oceans.
Y lo que ha estado pasando, lo muy interesante, que se está desapareciendo el agua de los lagos y estos huecos que se abren en la tierra.
I've seen pictures of rivers that have sinkholes in it, and the water's constantly filling up into the center of the earth.
He visto fotografías de ríos donde se ha abierto un hueco y se ha desaparecido el agua y el agua está regresando a las profundidades de la tierra.
So here in Genesis 7, Bereshit 7,
Aquí en Génesis 7,
Jehovah had already put the water inside the earth,
Jehová ya había puesto el agua dentro de la tierra
and he is breaking up the deep to allow the water to escape.
y él está rompiendo la profundidad, la tierra, para que salga el agua, escape el agua.
Okay, so this is why, you look at the continents and you're like, well, they look like they go together.
Por eso cuando te fijas en los continentes pensarás que se ven como que si fueran todos juntos o se unieran.
Well, because at one time they were together.
Y es porque en algún punto ellos estuvieron juntos.
And when you study the tectonic plates, they're actually moving in opposite directions.
Y si estudias las placas tectónicas de la Tierra, están moviéndose en los lugares opuestos.
And they're moving a lot lately.
Y se han estado moviendo mucho.
There's been a lot of earthquakes lately.
Han habido últimamente muchos temblores.
Pangea, correct.
Pangea.
Okay, so let's move on to the next slide.
Vamos a la próxima diapositiva.
Okay, let's look at verse 11 again.
Veamos al versículo 11 otra vez. What happened here? These batteries.
Okay, verse 11, versículo 11.
Wait. Versículo
On the 17th day of the second month of the 600 year of Noah's life, all the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of the sky were open. Okay, so now we're going to review again about the windows of heaven.
Ok, vamos a revisar otra vez acerca de las ventanas del cielo.
Okay, that is H699.
Esa es la palabra H699.
That is Aruba.
Es Araba. Araba.
H6 Arba. Aruba. Where's the it's got to be in the vowels that are missing. Aruba.
Aruba.
Okay. I said this last time. It's like, because like the Vav is missing. It's H699.
Es H699.
Okay. It's an interesting word.
Es una palabra muy interesante.
It is lattice or window.
Es, ventana o... Hold on.
We're looking up lattice.
Sorry. Enrejado, rejilla. Enrejado.
Okay. So Jehovah opened up the water from underneath.
Jehová dejó salir el agua de la profundidad.
And he opened up the floodgates from on top.
Y también abrió las fuentes, las puertas en el cielo, las ventanas o compuertas.
Now this goes back to Bereshit, Genesis chapter 1 and 2.
Esto va de vuelta a Génesis capítulo 1 y 2.
When he formed the earth
Cuando él formó la tierra
and the universe,
y el universo,
he put water up above the heavens
él puso agua arriba de los cielos
and he put the water inside the earth.
y puso el agua dentro de la tierra.
So now he's allowing it to swallow up the earth.
Ahora él está permitiendo que I'm sorry,
He's allowing it to swallow up the earth.
o está permitiendo que se trague la tierra.
Now, why do you study all this?
¿Por qué estudiamos todo eso?
Like I was talking to Rebbitzin on the ride over.
Como hablaba con Rebbitzin cuando veníamos a la congregación.
And a lot of people study prophecy.
Mucha gente estudia la profecía.
And it's good to study prophecy in one sense.
Y es bueno estudiar profecía en un sentido.
Because then you know who the players are in the end of days.
Porque ahí tú puedes saber quiénes son los protagonistas en el fin de los tiempos.
And prophecy is going to happen.
Y la profecía va a suceder.
But I'm more of, why does it have to happen now?
Pero yo pienso por qué debe pasar ahora.
Because a lot of the prophecy is bad.
Porque mucha de esa profecía es mala.
And I'm more of a process person.
Yo soy más de una persona que procesa las cosas.
Like, why are we going through this?
Como por ejemplo, ¿por qué tenemos que pasar por eso?
And so here we're seeing the culmination of a lot of bad lives.
Aquí estamos viendo la culminación de muchas vidas malas.
The whole world was bad except for Noah.
Todo el mundo era malo excepto por Noé.
So Jehovah said, "Okay, I'm going to wipe the whole place out."
Entonces Jehová dijo, voy a limpiar todo este lugar.
Okay. So if you don't want the heavens to flood you,
Si no quieres que los cielos te inunden,
and the Lord is going to flood the earth, not fully, but he is going to flood it again.
y el Señor va a inundar la tierra, no completamente, pero lo va a hacer otra vez.
Now, how do you know that?
¿Cómo sabes esto?
In the book of Revelation, it says the islands disappear.
Porque en el libro de Revelaciones habla que las islas se desaparecerán.
How do all the islands disappear?
¿Cómo es que todas las islas se van a desaparecer?
Got a lot more water.
Dios va a permitir más agua.
So the Dominican Republic is going to disappear.
Entonces la República Dominicana va a desaparecer.
Haiti's going to disappear.
Haití va a
Everybody's
desaparecer.
like, so you better have a boat,
Es mejor que tengan un bote
big boat.
muy grande.
Okay? So here Jehovah is showing us that he put the water up in
Yeah.
heaven.
Jehová nos está mostrando que está poniendo puso el agua en el cielo.
And now he's pouring out,
y ahora está haciendo que se derrame
and he's flooding from it within.
y está haciendo que se inunde con esas aguas.
And what's the reason?
¿Y cuál es la razón?
It's called disobedience.
Se llama desobediencia.
When, your parents don't enjoy spanking their children. Well, most parents.
Los padres no disfrutan el castigar a sus hijos,
Okay? But sometimes to save their lives, you have to chastise.
pero hay veces que para salvar sus vidas tienes que castigarlos.
So Jehovah said, I'm done with this and I'm going to do what I say.
Jehová dice entonces, ya estoy harto de esto y voy a hacer lo siguiente.
So he drowned the earth.
Entonces él ahogó, inundó la tierra.
Okay, moving on to the next slide.
Siguiente diapositiva.
Now we're going to move on to verse 12.
Ahora vamos a irnos al versículo 12.
Because we're still trying to look at the second part. We're still trying to look at the second part
Porque aún estamos tratando de mirar o aprender de la segunda parte
of the 17th day of the second month.
del día 17 del segundo mes.
But you got to understand the water first.
Pero tienes que entender el agua primero.
Okay? So here, let's read verse 10 through 12.
Leamos los versículos 10 al 12.
After 7 days, the water flooded the earth. On the 17th day of the second month of the 600th year of Noah's life, all the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of the sky were opened. It rained on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. Okay? So now we're looking at 40 days and 40 nights.
Ahora estamos observando a 40 días y 40 noches.
So we're looking at 40 complete day and night.
Estamos mirando a 40 días completos y 40 noches.
So it rained 40 days from heaven,
Llovió 40 días del cielo,
because we just reviewed again that Jehovah opened up Hashemayim.
porque acabamos de revisar que Jehová abrió las ventanas o las compuertas de Hashemayim.
And then he also opened up the deep,
También abrió las fuentes del abismo.
so the water was overtaking the earth.
Entonces el agua estaba cubriendo la tierra.
And everything on earth was now in confusion.
Y todo en la tierra ahora estaba en confusión.
Now, why would it be in confusion?
¿Por qué tiene que estar en confusión?
Because it had never rained before.
Porque nunca ha llovido antes.
So maybe you were living up in the mountains and it didn't touch you at first.
Entonces quizá vivías en las montañas y al principio no te afectó, no te tocó esas aguas.
Okay? So here, people are not knowing what's going on.
Aquí la gente no sabe lo que está pasando.
And so why do we look at this?
Entonces, ¿qué es lo que miramos aquí?
Because the same thing is going to happen in the book of Revelation.
Porque lo mismo va a suceder en el libro de Apocalipsis.
Because people are going to curse God instead of turn towards God.
Porque la gente va a maldecir a Dios en lugar de arrepentirse y regresar a Dios.
And if you know the beginning, you'll understand the end.
Si conoces el comienzo, tú entenderás el final.
And that's why we study so hard.
Y por eso es que estudiamos mucho, arduamente.
So when we're seeing these things go on,
Cuando vemos que estas cosas están sucediendo
and people are turning further and further away from Scripture,
y la gente se está alejando mucho más de la Escritura,
then when God is trying to get our attention,
entonces cuando Dios está tratando de llamar nuestra atención,
there's confusion.
hay confusión.
Why?
¿Por qué?
Because you don't know why you're being chastised.
Porque no sabes por qué estás siendo tú castigado.
You don't know why there's no food.
Tú no entiendes por qué no hay comida.
You don't know why there's no rain.
Tú no sabes por qué no hay lluvia.
And instead of turning towards God, most people turn away from the Lord.
Y en lugar de acercarse a Dios, la gente se aleja de Dios.
So imagine it starts to rain. So at first you're like, wow, what's this stuff?
Imagínate que comienza a llover y te preguntas qué es esto lo que está pasando.
And now it starts to, you've had enough of the new stuff. You've had enough of the new stuff.
Entonces ya tuviste suficiente de esta nueva cosa,
So
de esto nuevo, de este nuevo evento, lo que está pasando.
now also this is affecting the animals,
Esto también está afectando a los animales,
because the animals have not seen rain either.
Porque los animales tampoco han visto lluvia antes.
Okay, they never flew in rain.
Ellos nunca volaron en la lluvia.
Okay, so now there's confusion on the earth.
Entonces hay confusión en la tierra.
Now, also another thing to look at.
Hay otra cosa que observar también.
Now, we spoke about 2 weeks ago.
Ahora hablamos de esto 2 semanas atrás.
When it's raining, it's dark,
Cuando llueve oscurece,
as it was most of yesterday,
como estuvo ayer,
because we were having lots and lots of rain up here.
porque estuvimos teniendo mucha lluvia el día de ayer.
And when it's raining, you really can't tell the difference between night and day.
Y cuando está lloviendo no puedes mucho diferenciar entre el día y la noche.
So the reason that we need to understand this,
La razón que necesitamos entender esto,
and that in the next chapter, Bereshit 8, verse 22,
en el próximo capítulo de Génesis 8, versículo 22,
Jehovah says, day and night shall not cease anymore.
Jehová dice que el día y la noche nunca dejarán de existir.
So for 40 days and 40 nights,
Entonces por 40 días y 40 noches,
day and night stopped.
el día y la noche se detuvo.
This is why he says in the next chapter, in 8:22, that it's not going to stop again.
Por eso dice en el capítulo 8, versículo 22, que los días no van a cesar.
When there was a war, I can't remember where it was, ¿verdad? That they had to hold up the, I can't remember the story right now.
It was when Joshua was fighting the enemy, he prayed to the Lord so that the moon would stay like the whole day.
The sun stayed up.
Yeah, the sun. ¿Fue la luna o el sol?
Ujú.
El sol. The sun.
Yeah, it stayed there. But it just stayed there for a little while.
Oh, so it wasn't like it just stayed until,
No.
oh,
Okay. So here, during the 40 days and 40 nights,
Aquí durante los 40 días y 40 noches.
now remember, Jehovah is above the clouds.
Recuerda que Jehová está sobre las nubes.
He's above the heavens.
Él está sobre los cielos.
Okay. So he's seen day and night.
Y Él ha visto el día y la noche.
But we on the planet are not.
Pero nosotros en el planeta no.
All right, let's go to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Now let's study about 40.
Ahora estudiemos acerca del número 40.
Because the Hebrew language is very important.
Porque el lenguaje hebreo es muy importante.
It is a perfect language.
Es un lenguaje perfecto.
And each letter has great significance.
Y cada letra tiene una significancia grande.
So we're trying to understand the water.
Entonces estamos tratando de entender el agua.
Like, why is it the 17th day of the second month?
Como por ejemplo, cuando dijimos por qué fue esto el segundo mes en el día 17.
Now, one thing we didn't talk about today that we talked about 2 weeks ago,
Ahora lo que no hablamos hace 2 semanas atrás,
when a woman is pregnant, the baby is surrounded by water.
que cuando una mujer está embarazada, el bebé está totalmente rodeado de agua
That has salt in it,
y tiene sal.
because it's like a saline mixture around the baby.
Es una mezcla salina alrededor del bebé.
Okay? So this is what we were talking about with the salt mantle in the lesson the other day.
Por eso hablábamos del manto de sal en la lección de Shabbat.
So now we're trying to get some more understanding
Ahora vamos a tratar de tener más un entendimiento más
to try to understand why it's the 17th day of the second month.
para comprender por qué es el segundo mes y en el día 17.
And should we recognize that day?
Y deberíamos reconocer este día.
Every, second month, should we like pause it at least for a moment to recognize that day?
Quizá en el segundo mes deberíamos detenernos y reconocer este día.
What do you think?
¿Qué creen?
What do you think there, Mr. Yehoshua? Marty, you're next.
I think that definitely we have.
Well, give him the microphone. That way everybody on the line can hear. That's not a football.
That's why I'm here. I was bad in baseball. So, I think that we should recognize this day because, in a certain way, we do recognize because we are counting the Omer. We should every day after the victory, we should thinking and try to talking about the events that is supposed to be. Because remember all these events after the resurrection of Yeshua. We should remember as a Omer and also as a dates as a reminder that all the things that had happened with the Talmidim with him. But I remember you teach us that there's a mystery. Not mystery. It's like something special in Pesach. Why the Most High, the Father, wants us to do Pesach no matter what. Because the first time we did, but if you missed it, you still have an opportunity. The 17, as we learned last week, even if it was mentioned on the Torah in a certain way, because we already figured out that it's mentioned, but we have the second Pesach, and then that's it. We already know that our Pesach, was Yeshua, and he was a Matzah, and he was a Bikurim. So what is a Bikurim? It's the 17th. So I think we should not. It's not commanded in Ma'ika 23, but we should at least, as an Omer, talking about it. We mention it. It's not like, oh, let's celebrate. Let's do a holy convocation. But yeah, as a reminder, we should
Sí, señor. But shorter.
Creo que sí deberíamos de conmemorar el 17, no como una fiesta santa, sino como un día donde deberíamos de pensar en esto, el diluvio, lo que sucedió, el porqué, aparte de ser uno de los días que estamos contando como el Omer. Después del Bikurim sabemos que debemos contar esos 50 días, 49, para el Omer. Y esos días también fueron conmemorativos por el hecho de Yeshua estar con los Talmidim en ese tiempo. Aparte de sabemos que resucitó en el día 40, fue al cielo en el día 40, después del Omer, o sea que es algo bien bueno recordar.
Just turn it off. Anybody else?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Get the mic.
Let's see if you get good at this. Revenge.
Okay, my thought is that we shouldn't, only because I am stuck on the legalistic, because the word says, the word does not say to celebrate it like we do Pesach. The second Pesach is not for everybody, it's for those who missed it or were not able to participate in the official, for lack of a better word, the official one at first. It's not something that should be done by everybody, because everybody would have already accomplished it when it had to be done. So I think in my thought process, because it's not specifically said to do so, and it's only said to be done by those who weren't able to participate on the first hand, that we should do it.
Okay. So why do you think that we have this specific day and month?
¿Por qué tú crees que tenemos este día específico y el mes específico?
What's its purpose?
¿Cuál es el propósito?
That we have a specific, there are a lot of things in Scripture
Hay muchas cosas en la escritura, pero este tiene el día y la fecha específica.
that don't have a specific date.
Y estas otras cosas no tienen el día específico.
So what's your summation of why we know the exact day and month that the flood began?
¿Cuál es qué piensas de por qué tenemos estas fechas cerca del mes y el día del
Well, if I
diluvio?
remember correctly, when we first hit this topic 2 weeks ago, you did say that you had to literally research this information. So, because I have understood that God does nothing in secret, if He wanted us to do it, it would have been written in there. Now, there's a lot of stuff that there is mysteries and that we're not going to know why, and we're not going to know His purpose behind it, because that's who He is. And maybe it's because we don't need to know. And if He didn't put it in the book, I'm going to go with the fact that we didn't need to know it. It is, like I said, on the first part when I answered. The second Pesach is specifically for those who could not participate on the first. That's all He says. So I'm going to go with that. He does nothing in secret. Had He wanted us to know, He would have put it in there. And by you saying that you had to literally research, and not, as you had explained it, it wasn't something easy to find. You literally had to look and search in order to find that answer. So I still go with the fact that I don't think so.
Okay, good point. Joshua, Yehoshua?
Just a question. What is the purpose of counting the Omer?
What's the purpose?
Yes.
Because there's no calendar.
¿Cuál es el propósito de contar el Omer?
And you have to keep the days yourself. A
Porque
reminder.
no tenemos calendarios y tú tienes que mantener, recordar, contar para ti.
Because there's no set day. There's a set day for Pesach,
Porque no hay una fecha indicada o ya puesta para Pesach.
but there's no set day for Bikurim.
O no, sí está, pero para Bikurim no.
So that means there's no set day for Shavuot.
Entonces no hay una fecha tampoco puesta para Shavuot.
So it's a reminder.
Es un recordatorio.
Because I already know, but the question is because I want to organize the 17th of the second month. It falls on the week of the Omer. So we don't have to celebrate it. We're not saying that we have to celebrate the 17th. We're just saying that we should remember what happened in that day. So, I'm not against to not remember that day, but at the same time, we are remember something, we are counting in those days. So now that we know, even that if you're not gonna remember on that day, you will remember from now on. I'm saying for us that we already know that the 17th day of the second month, that happened. For us, it's gonna be impossible. Once it passed the Bikurim and we start counting, I'm sure that once we get to the 17th of the second month, we're gonna be like, you know what? A day like today, the flood happened. So I'm not saying that we're going to celebrate it. I'm saying that now that we know that information, even for you, that you think that you're not going to celebrate it, you're not going to celebrate it.
You don't have to celebrate it.
We don't have to
No, you
celebrate,
said
but
celebrate. You don't have to
we don't have to
celebrate.
celebrate it, but you're going to remember.
And you wouldn't have even known if he hadn't fished and threw the answer, the question out
No,
there.
but what I'm saying is, it's not, you're not going to celebrate it, and last year, we wasn't thinking about that.
That's my point.
But we
If
did,
it were
but
that
we
important,
did.
we would have known it from the
It
beginning, and he
doesn't,
would
no,
have said
but
it way
it's
before.
not what we do it. If we probably did everything wrong back then. I was doing Catholic things. That was, it wasn't affecting you, but I'm not doing that anymore, but I'm doing something different now, and I learned. So the 17th of the second month, you gotta remind me this.
Well, let's do it this way.
Hagámoslo de esta manera.
Remember Shaul says, I met somebody that went up to the third heaven.
Recuerda cuando Rab Shaul habló de que él conocía a alguien que subió hasta el tercer cielo.
There's levels of learning,
Hay niveles de aprendizaje.
and this is why the Hebrew people study so much.
Y por esta razón es que la gente hebrea estudia mucho.
And it's not specific to them, but I think every culture should hold education as the highest thing in their lives.
No es específico solamente para ellos, pero creo que toda cultura debería mantener la educación como algo importante en sus vidas.
Because knowledge is power, and I like power.
Porque el conocimiento es poder y me gusta el poder.
So the more you understand about who Jehovah is,
Mientras tú entiendes más quién es Jehová,
the further you take your knowledge,
entonces tu conocimiento va a ser mucho más, vas a tener mucho más conocimiento,
with passion.
compasión.
See, what happens with a lot of the Hebrew people is they knowledge and no passion.
Lo que pasa mucho con la gente hebrea es que tienen conocimiento pero no tienen esa pasión.
And then it becomes Talmudic.
Y entonces se convierte en talmúdico.
It's like marriage. You can't let the spice go out of your marriage.
Es como un matrimonio, no puedes dejar que... No es especies. La chispa es... No es especies. Joder, no,
Wow, you're red.
¿Ah? No,
Llama, puede ser llama, chispa.
La pasión.
que
Compassion.
la pasión no es ya en un matrimonio se apague.
But the more you know about your beloved,
Pero mientras tú sabes más acerca de tu amado,
the more you grow closer to your beloved in heaven,
mucho más te acercarás a tu amado en el cielo.
the more special your relationship becomes.
Tu relación se convertirá o se hará mucho más especial.
It's about love. I love Rebbetzin Kelly more today than I did 35 years ago.
Es acerca del amor. Rabbi Andrew dice que él ama a Rebbetzin Kelly mucho más que antes.
The same goes with this knowledge.
Lo mismo se trata de este conocimiento.
What we're doing at Beth Goyim is like a college level. Your knowledge is going to surpass any Christian theology school.
Lo que hacemos aquí en Beth Goyim es que tu conocimiento va a sobrepasar el conocimiento de la mentalidad cristiana.
And God only needs a remnant to save the world.
Y Dios solamente necesita un remanente para salvar la tierra.
12 Jewish guys flipped over the world.
12 hombres judíos cambiaron el mundo.
12 Jewish guys made the whole Roman Empire very scared.
12 hombres judíos hicieron temblar al Imperio Romano.
So it's an interesting topic.
Es un tema interesante.
Like, why do I know a specific day?
Como por ejemplo, ¿por qué sé de este día específico?
Why is it there?
¿Por qué está allí?
What do I need to recognize as I develop my relationship with Jehovah?
¿Por qué tengo que reconocer para poder desarrollar mi relación con Jehová?
Well, we've established that it's like a new birth, a resurrection.
Pero lo establecemos como un nuevo nacimiento y resurrección.
We've established that it's during the time of the second Pesach, near the second Pesach.
Lo hemos establecido que es durante el tiempo de la segunda Pascua.
We've established that the second Pesach is when you've touched a dead thing.
Hemos establecido que existe la segunda Pascua porque has tocado un cuerpo, un cadáver.
And this is the only holy day that he gives a second chance to.
Este es el único día santo donde Dios nos da una segunda oportunidad.
So now on the 17th day of the second month,
Entonces, en el día 17 del segundo mes,
he begins a 40-day and 40-night deluge of water.
Él comienza un diluvio de 40 días y 40 noches.
So let's try to gain some wisdom from the Hebrew understanding.
Entonces, tratemos de ganar un poco de más sabiduría del entendimiento hebreo.
The letter that signifies the number 40 is the letter mem,
La letra que representa el número 40 en hebreo es mem.
not it's a regular mem, not a mem Sophi.
Es una mem regular, no es una mem de terminación.
The letter mem is the letter that represents water or mayim.
La letra mem representa el agua o mayim.
And mayim symbolizes the fountain of divine wisdom of the Torah.
Y mayim también simboliza a la fuente de conocimiento de la Torah.
So you see how we're starting to go a little deeper.
Si ves cómo estamos profundizando un poco más.
So there's something divine about that particular day.
Entonces existe algo divino en este día en particular.
Because in the rest of the study for the next couple of sections, we're going to do a lot of numbers.
Porque en el resto del estudio vamos a revisar algunos números también.
The farther you get with your education in the scriptures,
Mientras más sigues adelante con tu educación en las escrituras,
once you master Torah, where you know a lot of the laws,
una vez que tú ya seas estudiado en Torah y sepas muchas más leyes,
then you start to study the Hebrew language.
entonces tú comienzas a estudiar el lenguaje hebreo.
Then you start to study something called gematria.
Entonces comienzas a estudiar la gematria.
And you will see amazing things and patterns in the scripture, especially if you like mathematics.
Y vas a comenzar a ver unos patrones sorprendentes en las escrituras, especialmente si te gustan las matemáticas.
Because each letter symbolizes many different parts of God's personality.
Porque cada letra simboliza cada parte de la,
Different parts of God's
de
personality.
la
of his personality.
personalidad de Dios.
Okay? And this is why he wrote the directions for our life in the perfect language Hebrew.
Por eso es que él escribió las directivas para nuestra vida en el lenguaje perfecto, el hebreo.
So we got the mem, it symbolizes water.
Entonces tenemos la letra mem que simboliza el agua.
And just as the waters of the physical fountain are a spring,
Así como las aguas físicas del manantial,
the water sprang up from an unknown source.
el agua salió de un lugar que no se conoce.
Like if the water's in the middle, it's in the earth,
Como por ejemplo, si el agua está dentro de la tierra,
that must be the water surrounding hell also.
debe ser el agua que está rodeando al infierno también.
Because hell is at the center of the earth because Yeshua said it was.
Porque el infierno está en el centro de la tierra, porque Yeshua lo dijo una vez.
Yeah, that would be the core. So
Ese
you
sería el
have
núcleo.
like a moat surrounding a castle
Tienes
or
como
a jail.
una cárcel rodeando
A moat, a river, a
o
lake.
como un río, un lago o circulando rodeando un castillo,
Like Alcatraz out in California.
como Alcatraz en California.
So you have the part where we live,
¿Un foso? Foso.
you got the part where we live,
Tenemos la parte donde vives.
you got the mayim in the earth.
Tienes el Mayan en la tierra.
The mayim is broken up so that it could flood the earth,
El Mayan se ha roto, así puede inundar a la tierra.
but he still let Satan stay in the jail.
Pero aún deja a Satanás que esté encerrado en la cárcel.
Because remember, Kepha says the angels are in a place lower than hell, so there's even layers of hell.
Que recuerda que Kefa habla de que los ángeles están en un lugar más profundo del infierno.
So here you have the letter mem. It's a secret of the abyss.
Aquí tenemos la letra mem, que es el secreto del abismo.
So once you start studying the profoundness of the Hebrew language, you understand that there's more levels.
Aquí cuando comienzas a estudiar la profundidad del lenguaje, vas a ver que hay muchos niveles.
Let's go to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Let's read verse 12 again. It rained, versículo 12. It rained on the earth 40 days and 40 nights.
Amén.
Okay? The mem represents a flowing stream.
El mem representa una fuente que está fluyendo, una corriente que está fluyendo.
We got it?
Perdón.
1 sec.
Un arroyo, corriente, torrente que está fluyendo.
Okay? The final mem
El mem final
represents an underground stream.
representa una corriente, un arroyo subterráneo.
So the flowing stream was all on top of the earth now.
Ahora esta corriente estaba sobre la tierra.
Okay, so the mem also represents the womb.
El mem también representa el vientre.
So on the 17th day of the second month,
En el día 17 del segundo mes,
the Lord was going to give birth to something new
el Señor va a dar a luz a algo nuevo,
because the water broke out from the womb.
porque el agua se rompió de la fuente.
And that is a lot of water that comes out, as you ladies know.
Y eso es mucha agua de lo que sale.
Like when Rebitson was pregnant with Tristan, the water broke in our bed.
Como cuando Rebetson Kelly estaba embarazada de Tristan, de la fuente se le reventó en la cama.
And we had a water bed at that time, and the water bed became more water bed.
Y tenían ellos una cama de agua y la cama se hizo mucho más.
Okay, so see how there's different layers of understanding.
Así vemos entonces que hay muchas capas de entendimiento.
So 40 is mem.
40 es mem.
Okay, the water is now being broken out.
El agua ahora ha sido, se han roto las fuentes del agua.
A new birth is going to happen because he's going to wipe everything out.
Un nuevo nacimiento va a suceder porque va a inundar todo.
How many people are in the ark?
¿Cuánta gente está en el arca?
8.
8.
What is 8?
¿Qué es 8?
8 is a number of new beginning.
Es el número de nuevos comienzos
That happened on the 17th day of the second month.
que pasó en el 17 día del mes segundo.
17
17
is 10 plus 7.
es 10 más 7.
The hand of God of perfection.
La mano de Dios de perfección.
The number 2 in the second month.
El número 2 en el segundo mes.
When any two of you are there together, there he is in our midst.
Cuando dos de ustedes están juntos, entonces Él está en el medio.
The 2 is a number of agreement
El número 2 también es un número de acuerdo
or separation,
o de separación.
because you can be in agreement or you can be separate.
Porque puedes tú estar de acuerdo con alguien o puedes estar separado de alguien.
So on the 17th day of the second month,
En el día 17 del segundo mes,
something is breaking out to start a new beginning.
algo se está rompiendo para tener un nuevo
A
comienzo.
flowing stream has begun.
Un arroyo que fluye está comenzando.
A new birth is beginning because it's a mem.
Un nuevo nacimiento está sucediendo porque es un mem.
Let's go on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Now, here's something very interesting.
Ahora aquí hay algo muy interesante.
40 days from conception
40 días después de la concepción
is the initial formation of the fetus.
es la formación inicial, o es donde el feto comienza a
It's
formarse.
not a collection of cells anymore.
Ya no es una colección de células.
It actually begins to take form.
En ese momento comienza a tomar una forma.
So now on the 17th day of the second month,
En el día 17 del segundo mes,
the hand of God in perfection
la mano de Dios en la perfección
starts with agreement with his son, who was in agreement with the flood,
comienza con el acuerdo de su hijo acerca de la inundación,
where he's going to form something new.
y va a formar algo nuevo.
So now you're getting a little deeper into Hebrew thought process.
Ahora están profundizándose en este pensamiento hebreo.
This is the way a Hebrew thinks.
Esta es la manera que un hebreo piensa.
Many profound layers.
Muchas capas profundas.
Okay? Now for chastisement,
Ahora para castigo,
It says 40 less 1.
Dice 40 menos 1.
Okay, the punishments of stripes. Yeshua received 39 lashes.
El castigo de azotes cuando Yeshua recibió 39 azotes.
Because 40, you would humiliate the person.
Porque con 40 humillarías a una persona.
Okay. Huh? 39 no.
No,
It says 40 in Torah.
no 39, 40 dice en la
It
Torah.
says if you give him 40, it would be too much to bear.
Si le das 40 sería mucho para la persona.
Okay? How many weeks is a woman pregnant?
¿Cuántas semanas está una mujer embarazada?
40 weeks.
40 semanas.
So you see what's going on here?
¿Ven lo que está pasando aquí?
And why we study so diligently?
¿Y por qué estudiamos con mucha atención?
I love Jehovah.
Yo amo a Jehová.
I love the way he thinks.
Amo la manera en cómo él piensa.
It is going to be so great to be in Hashemayim,
Va a ser grandioso estar en Hashamayim.
because to be with somebody that incredible,
Porque para estar con alguien así de increíble,
the way he processes thoughts is so missing in the world today.
la manera en cómo él procesa, cómo piensa, no existe en la tierra ahora.
That common sense is a superpower.
Porque el sentido común ahora es un superpoder.
You know, in this building last night for the pagan New Year, Joseph said they were partying until 7 in the morning.
Para el año nuevo, las iglesias de abajo, por el año nuevo estaban celebrando hasta las 7 de la mañana.
They have no idea what they're doing.
No tienen idea lo que están haciendo.
Okay? Yeah, these people don't know their butt from their elbow. Okay, so 40 days, Israel was waiting for Moses to descend with the Torah.
40 días también estuvo Israel esperando por Moshe que baje del monte con los mandamientos.
So let's take that understanding.
Entonces entendamos esto.
They were in darkness for 40 days and 40 nights
Estaban en oscuridad por 40 días y 40 noches,
without their godly leader.
sin su líder temeroso de Dios o piadoso.
Now what happened?
¿Qué sucede?
During that time, they went right back to their pagan ways.
Durante ese tiempo ellos regresaron a sus maneras paganas.
So now, why?
Ahora, ¿por qué?
Because here you have the establishment of the 40-day period.
Porque aquí tienes el establecimiento de este periodo de 40 días.
It should teach us to be patient,
Debe enseñarnos a ser pacientes,
to not step before the Lord and wait for Him to guide our every footstep.
No adelantarnos antes que el Señor, sino dejarle que nos guíe en cada paso.
So once you establish this,
Una vez que has establecido esto,
that on the 17th day of the second month,
que en el día 17 del segundo mes,
He begins this new birth process.
Él comienza este proceso de nacimiento.
And this is where you get the understanding of the mem.
Y aquí es donde entiendes o obtienes el entendimiento de la letra
That
mem.
this day is not a moed,
Que este día no es un moed,
but neither is Purim.
pero tampoco es Purim.
And we recognize Purim
Y reconocemos a Purim.
because it's very important prophetically what's going on.
Porque proféticamente es muy importante para saber lo que está sucediendo.
Especially since the king of Persia wants to wipe Israel off the map again.
Especialmente cuando el rey de Persia quiere destruir o borrar a Israel del mapa.
And the American government wants to take our guns away starting next month.
Y el gobierno americano quiere quitar nuestras armas comenzando desde el próximo mes.
Can anybody say Venezuela?
¿Puede alguien recordar a Venezuela?
When the government is the only one that has guns, it's a bad situation.
Cuando el gobierno es el único que puede tener armas, es una situación muy mala.
Can anybody say Cuba?
¿Puede alguien recordar a Cuba?
And, you know, we can go on a list of
Y
countries.
podríamos seguir con una lista de países.
So Jehovah is trying to draw our eyesight
Jehová está tratando de hacer que miremos
and our spirit
en nuestro espíritu
to something that is profound in verse 11.
algo que es profundo en el versículo 11.
Like, why is it there?
Como por ejemplo, ¿por qué razón vemos esto aquí?
So 40 begins the formation of a person.
40 es donde comienza la formación de una persona.
So on the 17th day of the second month,
En el día 17 del segundo mes,
he's forming a new man,
él está formando un nuevo hombre,
a righteous man called Noach.
un hombre justo que se llama Noé.
He's forming a new family
Está formando una nueva familia,
because they all get on the ark together.
porque todos ellos entraron en el arca.
Okay? The 40 is representing the chastisement
40 también representa el castigo,
because we see it later on in the Torah.
porque vemos eso después en la Torah.
The 40 is the weeks of a pregnancy.
40 también es los días de un embarazo.
So 40 is a time to get ready for something big to happen at the end.
40 también es la preparación para algo grande que va a suceder al final.
40 is a time where you can make a serious mistake
40 también es el tiempo en que puedes cometer un error muy serio,
because Moses went up to the mountain to receive the directions.
porque Moisés fue a la montaña a recibir las direcciones.
Let's go to the next slide.
Siguiente diapositiva.
Let's read verse 11 and 12.
Leamos los versículos 11 y 12.
Okay, now we're getting away from the mem.
Nos estamos alejando de la letra.
On the 17th day of the second month of the 600th year of Noach's life, all the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of the sky were open. It rained on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. Amen?
Amén.
The number 40 is mentioned 146 times in the scriptures.
En la escritura se menciona el número 40, 146 veces.
So if God's going to mention that number that many times,
Si Dios está mencionando este número muchas veces,
it is important for you to understand the meaning behind the number.
es importante que entiendas tú el significado detrás de este número.
40 generally symbolizes the period of testing,
El número 40 también simboliza generalmente un periodo de prueba,
trials, and probation.
probatoria o juicio.
Okay? So here, if you're going through some trials, you might have to wait your 40 days.
Si estás pasando por algunas pruebas, tú debes esperar tu periodo de 40 días.
Okay? So if you're going through something heavy, just ride it out.
Si estás pasando por algo difícil, solamente sigue adelante.
Now, remember, Moshe was in Egypt for 40 years,
Recuerda que Moshe estaba en Egipto por 40 años,
and 40 years in the desert before Jehovah selected him.
y 40 años en el desierto antes de que Jehová lo seleccionara.
Okay? So we begin this 40 is, the flood begins for 40 days.
El diluvio begins at the 40 days?
The flood begins on this day for 40 days.
O el diluvio comienza en este día por 40 días.
Okay? So now Moshe leads the people in the desert for how long?
Ahora Moshe guía a la gente de Israel por cuánto tiempo por medio del desierto.
For another 40 years.
Por otros 40 años.
Because they wouldn't ask for directions.
Porque no pedía dirección.
And then when they did ask for directions, they wouldn't follow directions.
Y cuando pedían direcciones, pues no seguían las direcciones.
So why do they have such a problem?
¿Por qué es que tenían tanto problema?
Because they didn't learn the lesson of the 17th day of the second month.
Porque no aprendieron la lección del día 17 del mes segundo.
What's the lesson of the 17th day of the second month?
¿Cuál es la lección del día 17 del mes segundo?
That God chastised the world.
Que Dios castigó al mundo.
And this is why you want to recognize it to a certain extent.
Por esta razón es que quizá quieras recordarlo hasta cierto punto.
Because once you recognize it
Porque una vez que lo reconoces
and you keep it at the forefront of your mind a little bit,
y lo mantienes enfrente en tu cabeza por un tiempo.
my goal is not to have the seals of Revelation opened up in our lifetime.
Mi meta es que no se abran los sellos de revelaciones en nuestro tiempo.
Because my Jehovah said that if I find enough righteous people, I'm not going to destroy.
Porque Jehová dice que si no encuentra un número de justos, él no va a hacer estas cosas.
There are some people that believe the flood didn't happen.
Hay gente que piensa que el diluvio no sucedió.
I am not one of those people.
Yo no soy una de esas personas.
I believe it truly did happen.
Yo creo que verdaderamente sucedió.
Elizabeth.
I just want to mention, brother, and I want to ask you because Yeshua also, in the Brit Hadashah, we see him doing things on the 40 days. Those, I just want to know if that's like mentioning the number 40 and its significance for Yeshua. Would that tie to any of?
Yeah, in Acts chapter 1, he spent 40 days with the Talmudim after his resurrection.
And when he went to the desert also to be tested.
In Luke 2.
The number 40, we should take a good look at that number because it's very important.
Well, yeah, well that's why we go deep here. Because once you begin once you begin to want to delve more,
Una vez que quieres,
once you
delve.
begin to desire more knowledge,
una vez que quieras tú comenzar a desear mucho más conocimiento,
then your love for Yeshua will be even greater.
entonces tu amor por Yeshua va a ser incluso más grande.
Like, why did he spend 40 days in the desert?
Por ejemplo, porque él pasó 40 días en el
Because
desierto.
at the end of the 40 days, he would have a new birth.
Porque al final de los 40 días él tendría un nuevo nacimiento.
Remember, he would go through the mikvah after 40 days.
Recuerda que después de los 40 días él pasó por el mikvah
And then he was surrounded by the water.
y él estuvo rodeado por agua.
Oh, he's surrounded by the water.
Está rodeado por el agua.
You could take it even.
Now that I'm thinking about it, it says there when you read it that he started his ministry after he finished those 40 days of being tempted. It's like a new beginning for him in his life. To start a big blessing for. It's very profound, brother. Number 40 is very, very important.
Amen.
Much everything tied together.
Once you have the 40 building block,
Una vez que tengas el bloque de los 40
and the understanding of the flood,
y el entendimiento del diluvio,
then you have the 17th day of the second month.
entonces tienes el día 17 del segundo mes.
Then you can take 19 because 17 plus 2
Entonces vas a ver el número 19 porque 17 más 2
is 19.
es 19.
10 is hand,
10 es mano,
9 is strength.
9 es fuerza.
The hand of God that's strong happened on the 17th day of the second month.
La mano de Dios que es fuerte pasó en el día 17 del mes segundo.
You could keep going with you, and it's incredible.
Tú puedes seguir investigando, que es increíble.
I don't mind teaching basics
A mí no me importa él enseñar cosas básicas,
because this is what this ministry is about.
porque
And that's what I told the Korean guy who came this Shabbat.
de eso se trata este ministerio y eso le dije a este visitante coreano que vino el Shabbat.
I don't care if you speak in tongues.
No me importa si hablas en lenguas,
I don't care if you believe in the rapture.
no me importa si crees en el rapto.
Beth Goyim's mission is to get you through trial in heaven.
La misión de Beth Goyim es el hacer que tú puedas pasar el juicio en el cielo,
It's taking any skill,
tomando una
skill.
habilidad.
Like when Veronica first learned how to cut hair,
Como cuando yo aprendí a cortar el cabello la primera vez.
Raved used to walk around crooked.
Solía caminar con la cabeza torcida.
Now we go to Maritza.
Ahora van a Maritza.
But when you first started cutting hair, maybe you weren't as good.
Cuando comenzaste a cortar cabello, quizás no eras tan profesional, tan buena.
It's sort of like drawing.
Es como dibujar.
Kids, when you first start to draw, you have all these flat-looking characters.
Cuando los niños comienzan a dibujar, tienen estos dibujitos chistosos.
When Oscar first started being a carpenter, things were a little crooked.
Cuando Oscar comenzó a trabajar de carpintero, las cosas le salían torcidas.
The same goes with the knowledge of the Word of God. It is deep as to whom the waters.
Así mismo es la palabra de Dios, es profundo como las aguas. Tohum.
And we're taking this study to enjoy the depth of Torah.
Estamos mirando este estudio para disfrutar la profundidad de la Torah,
Because to me, this gives me joy.
porque esto para mí me da gozo.
You know, people get drunk and stupid and that gives them joy, and go ahead.
La gente se emborracha y se ponen estúpidos y eso les complace, pues disfruten, ¿no?
But a community that has its joy coming from the Word of God
Pero la comunidad que tiene ese gozo que viene por la palabra de Dios
is a community that will not only live, but thrive.
es una comunidad que no solamente vivirá, pero prosperará.
All right, let's go on to the next slide.
Siguiente diapositiva.
40 days and 40 nights.
40 días y 40 noches.
The prophet Jonah powerfully warned Nineveh in 40 days and 40 nights that there was going to be destruction in 40 days.
El profeta Jonah advirtió a Nínive por 40 días que la destrucción vendrá por causa de sus pecados.
Later on, when we get to the ark,
Después, cuando entramos al arca,
the ark doesn't lift off the ground until 40 days and 40 nights.
el arca no se levanta hasta después de los 40 días y 40 noches.
Okay, the prophet Ezekiel in Ezekiel chapter 4 verse 6
El profeta Ezequiel en el capítulo 4, versículo 6,
lays on his right side for 40 days.
el profeta Ezequiel se acostó en su lado derecho por 40 días.
My back would hurt.
Mi espalda me dolería.
How many else's back would hurt with that?
¿A cuántos les dolería la espalda?
Man, what did he do for the bathroom?
¿Y qué harías con eso del baño?
Elijah went 40 days without food or water at Mount Horeb.
Elisha estuvo sin comer 40 días o sin agua en el monte Horeb.
Yeshua was tempted by the devil 3 times in those 40 days.
Yeshua fue tentado por el demonio 3 veces durante sus 40 días.
And finally he appeared to his disciples at Talmudim after 40 days.
Y
For 40 days after the resurrection.
finalmente también se apareció a sus discípulos y otros por 40 días después de su resurrección de la muerte.
Going on to the next slide. A little more about 40.
Un poco más información del número
The
40.
number 40 also represents a generation of man.
El número 40 también representa la generación de un hombre.
Okay? The sins of leaving Egypt.
Por los pecados después de salir de Egipto.
Jehovah swore that he wouldn't let this generation get into Eretz Israel because of their sins.
Jehová juró a esa generación que no entrarían a Israel por causa de sus pecados.
The children of Israel wandered the desert for 40 years.
Los hijos de Israel estuvieron caminando en el desierto por 40 años.
40 years after Yeshua's ministry,
Después de los 40 años del ministerio de
close to
Yeshua,
40 years,
o cerca de los 40 años,
the Roman Empire destroyed Jerusalem.
el imperio romano destruyó la ciudad de Jerusalén.
Going on to the next slide. Woo!
Siguiente diapositiva.
Okay, is everybody good with that?
¿Estamos de acuerdo con esto?
Okay, let's move on to section number 7.
Ahora vamos a ver la sección número 7.
Okay, let me just double check the time. We got 40 minutes.
Tenemos
Let's see if
40
we can get through section 7.
Veamos si podemos estudiar la sección 7.
Any questions about the mem? Any
¿Alguna
questions about the
pregunta
17th day of the second month?
acerca de la letra memo del día 17 del mes segundo?
Well, okay, Elizabeth and then Marty.
My question is that you mentioned that 40 covers like a generation. How do you know that information? Where does it say in Torah? That
Well, how-
40 years is a generation.
What do you say?
Isn't that why they walked in the desert for 40 years until they died out?
That generation. That's one specific one.
Oh, okay. So basically, like, you know, there's generational curse. You
Mhm.
have to like count, like, if there's something happening in your family, like, this is out of the topic.
A generational curse, that can last up to the 3rd and 4th generation.
Or in 160,
I will lay your curses on your children to the 3rd and 4th generation.
that would be like 160 years past, right?
Uh-huh.
Just to, thank you.
Just to make sure.
Now, that doesn't mean a person can't have salvation,
No, esto tampoco quiere decir que la gente no pueda tener
but they're
salvación,
going to have to deal with problems because of their lineage.
pero van a tener que lidiar con esos problemas por a causa de su linaje.
Uh-huh. So they had to deal with problems.
Exactly, a lot of them.
Van a tener que tener problemas.
Okay.
All right. So let's go on to section 7, verse 13 to 16.
Vamos a la sección 7, versículos 13 al 16.
Section is called "They went into Noach in the ark."
Esta sección se titula Entraron con Noé en el arca.
Okay, we're going to do verse 13 through 16.
Vamos a leer los versículos 13 al 16.
On that, wait, Marty, you got any questions?
Yeah, Rabbi, yeah. It's okay, Rabbi. I'm good. I'm good. No, Rabbi, everything okay. A little bit, no, I was looking at the Hebrew because man, with the man also, it's also dead. With the men, you know, the word met is also dead, which is like emunah. You take the aleph out of the emunah, you just take with met, which is dead. So I don't know if there's any connection on that. I mean, mayim is life, but met is dead, so I don't know.
No, you're removing things. You can't remove things. All right, let's go to verse 13 through 16.
Leamos los versículos 13 al 16.
On that same day, Noach entered the ark with Shem, Ham, and Japheth, the sons of Noach, Noach's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons accompanying them. They and every animal and every species, all the livestock of every species, every animal that creeps on the ground and every species, every bird and every species, and all sorts of winged creatures. They went into Noach in the ark, couples from every kind of living thing that breathes. Those that entered went in, male and female, from every kind of living being, as Elohim had ordered him, and Jehovah shut him inside. Okay, so now we have verse 13, 14, 15, and 16.
Ahora tenemos los versículos 13, 14, 15 y 16.
In verse 13, it has 3 sections.
En el versículo 13 tenemos 3 secciones.
Okay, the first section is on the same day Noach entered the ark with.
La primera sección es, en ese día entró Noé en el arca con.
You should try to mark up your Bibles.
Deberían tratar de marcar las Biblias ustedes.
Second section of verse 13 is Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
La segunda sección del versículo 13 es Shem, Ham y Japheth.
The third section is Noach's wife and the 3 wives.
La tercera sección es la mujer de Noé y las 3 mujeres de sus hijos.
Okay. Section number 14
Sección número 14
has 5 sections.
tiene 5 secciones.
Animal of every species is number 1.
Animal según su especie es la número 1.
Livestock of every species is number 2.
Ganado según su especie es número 2.
Creeps on the ground of every species is number 3.
Reptil que se arrastra sobre la tierra es número 3.
Number 4 is bird of every species.
Número 4 es ave según su especie.
And number 5 is winged creatures.
Y número 5 es aves de toda clase.
The reason I break it down
La razón por la que divido así
is most people don't know how to study the Word of God. That's how you get Sunday worship.
es que la mayoría de personas no saben cómo estudiar la palabra y después se inclinan a la adoración del domingo.
If you knew how to study the Word of God, you would stay away from Sunday worship and New Year's celebrations.
Si supieras estudiar la palabra de Dios, entonces te mantuvieras lejos del domingo y de la celebración del Año Nuevo.
So I highly recommend you marking up your Bibles.
Entonces te recomiendo mucho que marques tus Biblias.
Verse 15 has 2 sections.
Versículo 15 tiene 2 secciones.
Couples of every kind.
Parejas o de 2 en 2 de toda carne o de clase.
And number 2 is breathes.
Y la segunda parte es aliento de vida.
Okay, and then finally, verse 16 has 3 sections.
El versículo 16 tiene 3 secciones.
Male and female.
macho y hembra.
Elohim had ordered him,
Como Dios lo había mandado.
and Jehovah shut him inside.
Entonces, y la tercera es el Señor cerró la puerta.
Okay, everybody got it?
Entonces, ¿lo tenemos todo?
All right, let's go on to the next slide.
Siguiente diapositiva.
The synopsis
Sinopsis
of this section number 7
de la sección número 7.
is the day of salvation has come.
El día de la salvación ha venido.
The flood is about to happen.
La inundación o el diluvio está a punto de suceder.
Those in Noah's family have been obedient to the commandment.
Aquellos de la familia de Noah han sido obedientes al mandamiento.
Male and female have entered the ark.
Hombre y mujer o macho y hembra han entrado al arca.
Jehovah is pleased with this group, so it is he that closes the door.
Jehová está complacido con este grupo, así que Él es el que cierra la puerta.
It is very important to have the synopsis.
Es muy importante leer la sinopsis.
After 100 years, salvation is finally coming
Después de 100 años, la salvación finalmente ha venido.
to those who are obedient.
Aquellos que son obedientes.
If you're not obedient,
Si no eres obediente,
salvation, you might think you have salvation, but you don't.
quizá pienses que tienes salvación, pero no la tienes.
The flood, is about to happen,
El diluvio está a punto de suceder
and those who persevered
y aquellos que perseveran
will reap the reward of their work.
van a cosechar el fruto de su trabajo.
Now, here is something that's beautiful.
Aquí hay algo hermoso.
Noah got the word from Jehovah,
Noah tuvo que trabajar para Jehová
and the blessings went out to his obedient family.
y las bendiciones también cayeron sobre su familia obediente.
We don't have one scripture of his children complaining during those 100 years.
No tenemos ninguna escritura de sus hijos desobedeciendo en la Biblia.
And what's beautiful about this last part,
Y lo que es hermoso en esta parte,
Jehovah is pleased with this group of people.
Jehová está complacido con este grupo de personas.
He is the one that closes the door,
Él es el que cierra la puerta,
protecting those he loves
así protegiendo a los que él ama.
from the evil that would try to come into the ark,
De la maldad que tratará de entrar al arca,
from the flood that he was going to destroy the world with.
del diluvio que él iba a utilizar para destruir el mundo.
So he is the one that shuts the door behind Noah.
Él es el que cerró la puerta cuando Noé entró.
It's a very important concept that we should understand.
Este es un concepto muy importante que debemos entender.
Let's go on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Okay, verse 13.
Versículo 13.
On that same day Noah entered the ark with Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and the sons of Noah, Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons accompanying them. On that same day. So what is that day?
¿Cuándo es este mismo día?
It's the 17th day of the 2nd month.
Es el día séptimo del segundo mes.
So it's something that you might want to look at.
Es algo que quizá quisieras observar.
And, a prayer you might want to lift up a prayer specifically on that day.
Y quizá podrías hacer una oración en este día específico.
Like you remind Jehovah, as you remember Noah, remember me.
Como recordándole a Jehová que recuerde a Noah y que te recuerde a ti.
So here it is, this day, they entered the ark.
En este día ellos entraron en el arca
And the next part about what I wrote is all in the family.
y en la siguiente parte era toda la familia.
Okay, it's not Archie Bunker.
No es Archimonk.
Jesus, what are you doing here? But what we see
Pero lo que vemos
is something that we've talked about for a few weeks,
es algo que hablamos por unas semanas.
is the blessing that's going to extend to the whole family.
Es la bendición que se va a extender a toda la familia.
That no one is going to be left behind.
Que nadie será dejado atrás.
That all the family is going to enter safety.
Que toda la familia va a entrar en
Don't do it. It's fattening.
seguridad.
Have a piece of fruit.
No, I thought the popcorn is for it is the diet.
Uh,
Yeah, that's what people do for not eat. They eat popcorn.
Uh-huh. Have a
What if they had
have a piece of organic fruit.
fruit is sugar, so
No, it's a good sugar.
either or.
It's a good sugar. It's natural sugar.
Not even nighttime.
Well, that's,
It's still good sugars. Anyway, we'll go over diet.
There will be a study about that.
There's going to be we're going to do a big, massive study on that. Okay? Because your body knows what to do with it because God designed you to eat things like that.
Tu cuerpo sabe qué hacer con la comida porque Dios creó al cuerpo así.
Okay? Natural sugars will turn into proper brain matter.
Las azúcares naturales se transformarán en materia para el cerebro.
One thing you don't see is a fat vegetarian.
Una cosa que no ves es un vegetariano gordo.
All right, back to this study.
De vuelta al estudio.
Okay. So, on the 17th day of the second month,
En el día 17 del segundo mes,
they all entered the ark.
todos entraron al arca.
We don't see any of his family being left behind to be destroyed.
No vemos a ninguno de sus familiares que fueron dejados afuera y fueron destruidos.
What?
your hair is,
Oh. Huh? Sounds like a Lara.
sounds like you had sugar.
Must be the popcorn. Okay.
Sugar rush.
So now what has happened
Ahora, lo que está sucediendo
is the 8 have passed the 100-year test.
es que los 8 han pasado esa prueba de 100 años.
Because Jehovah said in the 500 year, and so 600 year, it's finally
Porque
starting.
Jehová dijo en el año 500 y ya han llegado al año 600 donde todo ha comenzado.
Okay, so the 8 have passed the test,
Los 8 pasaron la prueba.
and the day of salvation is now being given to them as a group.
Y el día de la salvación se ha dado a todos como grupo.
So imagine, you're on the ark.
Imagínate que estás en el arca.
Maybe people weren't banging on the ark at first,
Quizá la gente no estaban golpeando en el arca al principio.
no, it takes a while for the flood to,
Toma
for
un poco
flooding
de
to
tiempo
start.
para que las cosas comiencen a inundarse.
okay? So here the 8 have passed the test,
Entonces aquí vemos que los 8 han pasado la prueba
and the salvation is being brought to the entire family.
y la salvación ha sido traída para la familia completa.
It's a very important understanding, everybody,
Entonces es un entendimiento muy importante
for what we may be living through.
para lo que quizá vayamos a pasar.
And I've said this a number of times over the last few weeks and maybe even months.
Y he dicho esto por las últimas semanas y quizá meses.
The world is changing for the worse rapidly.
El mundo está cambiando para mal rápidamente.
And the only way, I believe, to survive
Y la única manera que yo creo que podremos sobrevivir
and live a good life
y vivir una buena vida
is if Jehovah is with you.
es que si Jehová vive contigo.
But you have to be with Him. Uno momento, por favor.
Okay.
And if this is the beginning of a pattern,
Si este es el comienzo de un patrón,
those who persevere when the world around them is evil
aquellos que perseveran cuando el mundo alrededor es malvado
will be separated for a good purpose.
serán separados por un buen propósito.
And then when Jehovah brings chastisement,
Y cuando Jehová traiga castigo,
you will be able to live.
tú vas a poder vivir
And you will have the things needed to survive.
Y vas a tener tú las cosas necesarias para sobrevivir.
So on the same day Noah entered the ark with his entire family.
Are you reading that?
No, I'm paraphrasing.
En el mismo día, Noah entró con su familia en el arca.
What's interesting about this
Lo que es interesante acerca de eso
is that the 3 wives are also included with the family now.
es que las 3 esposas también están incluidas con la familia.
So it isn't just Noah's blood, it is their wives are also part of the family.
Entonces no es solamente el linaje o la sangre de Noah, sino las esposas de los hijos.
Okay, let's now look at verse 14.
Veamos ahora el versículo 14.
Now these parts are going to go a little faster
Ahora estas partes vamos a acelerarnos un
because
poco,
we spent a lot of weeks on all these parts.
porque hemos pasado muchas semanas en esta parte.
Verse 14.
Versículo 14.
They and every animal and every species and all the livestock and every species and every animal that creeps on the ground and every species and every bird and every species, all sorts of winged creatures. Amen?
Amén.
Okay, so we've talked about the species, okay?
Hemos hablado de las especies.
All right, that, how did all the dinosaurs get in the ark?
¿Cómo es que los dinosaurios entraron en el arca?
The ark wasn't big enough to put like long necks and Tyrannosaurus Rex and all the other creatures in there.
El arca no era suficientemente grande para poner a todos esos dinosaurios gigantes.
It says species,
Dice especies.
okay? And you have to understand scientifically
Y
what
tienes-
is a species,
Y tienes que entender científicamente qué es una especie.
okay? Now, some of the science of this area is,
La ciencia en esta área es
okay, of beasts and cattle.
de bestias y ganado.
Some people put it at 130 different species,
Hay gente que pone 130 especies,
130,
130 especies.
and some put it at 150.
Algunos dicen que son 150.
So it isn't every single different type of dog,
Entonces no es cada tipo de perro.
okay? Because there's some people call, Cocker Spaniels dogs. They're little rats, but they're dogs.
Porque hay personas que llaman a los perros pequeños perros, pero son ratas.
They're not really dogs.
Los chihuahuas no son.
It's a big dog. It has
No, the little ratons.
That's a big dog, the Cocker Spaniel.
But they're also little Cocker Spaniels.
They're sheep.
No. What are the little rat dogs that a lot of Spanish people have?
Chihuahuas.
Chihuahuas, but they also have, okay, so let's say a Chihuahua.
Los chihuahuas, digamos.
Teacup. Yeah, your teacup.
The Yorkie.
Yorkies.
The Yorkie. Yeah, no, that's
But that's a dog, right?
That's a
Es
dog.
un perro, ¿verdad?
So is a Cocker Spaniel.
También es el Cocker Spaniel.
So a Yorkie and a Cocker Spaniel are a dog, right?
So el Yorkie y el Cocker Spaniel son perros.
So is a Great Dane.
También es el Gran Danés.
It's the same as the Yorkie. It's a
También
dog.
como el Yorkie, que es un perro.
Well, some people call Yorkies dogs.
Alguna gente llama a los Yorkies perros.
They're mops. Okay? So the reason we're talking about this quickly,
La razón por qué hablamos de esto,
because we already went through this,
porque habemos de esto ya,
is that we see every species.
es que vemos aquí que es de toda especie.
So this particular one is talking about cattle.
Este en particular habla del ganado.
There are different types of cattle,
Hay diferentes tipos de ganado,
okay? But it all is one species.
pero todo es una especie.
Let's go on to the next slide.
Siguiente diapositiva.
Okay, verse 14 again.
Versículo 14 otra vez.
They and every animal of every species, and all the livestock of every species, and every animal that creeps on the ground, and every species, and every bird, and every species, all sorts of winged creatures. Okay? So now we got the creepy things.
Ahora tenemos los que se arrastran, los reptiles.
Okay? So scientifically, and this is an argument,
Científicamente, pero aquí hay una discusión también.
but if you want more information, go to Answers in Genesis on this particular subject.
Pero si quieres más información, anda a respuestas en Génesis.
Okay? They believe in Genesis, but they don't believe in the Sabbath. So,
Creen en Génesis, pero no creen en el sábado.
but the things that creep on the ground, they say there's 30 different sorts.
Pero de las cosas que se arrastran en el piso dicen que son 30 especies.
So if you want to look it up or you're doing homeschooling, you can classify them.
Si quieres mirar esta información o si educas a tus hijos en casa, quizá los puedas clasificar.
Yes, Joseph.
Just to keep it in the context,
Cocker
I was
Spaniels.
looking more to this Dutch guy who made the ark. He said he have over about 6,000 species in plastic inside of the ark,
Okay.
and all together. Because
Oh.
I was interested to know what he did, and he literally, from the inside, I could see for a little bit the stages, how he did. It's like a balcony. You can see, like, if it's in a ship, it's a ship type of thing. So you could see the balconies of each row around the ark.
Well, that's why I said there's arguments on the species types.
Por esa razón es que digo que hay discusiones acerca de los tipos de las especies.
I tend to go with answers in Genesis. I like their study on this particular subject.
Yo tiendo a estar de acuerdo más con respuestas en Génesis porque ellos saben lo que están
So if you
estudiando.
want a real detailed study, their papers are available on the web.
Si quieres un buen estudio en detalle, su información está en la página web.
Okay, let's go. Verse 14 also talks about birds or fowls.
Versículo 14 también habla de las aves.
Okay, this was 195 different types of birds.
Se dice que son 195 diferentes tipos de aves.
Okay, so these are numbers that are argued,
Estas son números que están en discusión,
but for our study, it doesn't matter. I'm just pointing out that every species is there.
para nuestro estudio no importa, simplemente que estoy señalando que cada especie estuvo ahí.
Let's go on to the next slide.
Siguiente diapositiva,
Verse 15 and 16.
versículo 15 y 16.
They went into Noach in the ark, couples from every kind of living thing that breathes. Those that entered went in, male and female, every kind of living being, as Elohim had ordered him, and Jehovah shut him inside. So in verse 15,
En el versículo 15,
this is a very important verse once again,
este es un verso importante otra vez.
and this is why they're going to try to remove our Bibles,
Y esta es la parte donde van a tratar de remover nuestras Biblias,
because no gay couples are allowed,
porque no hay parejas homosexuales que se permitieron entrar,
because it said couples,
porque dice parejas.
and you need to be able to procreate as those couples.
Ni necesitas poder tú procrear así como esas parejas.
Okay, so you have to read verse 15 and 16 together
Tienes que leer los versículos 15 y 16 juntos
to understand that the couples are male and female.
para entender que las parejas son macho y hembra.
So this is why they're going to try to get rid of our Bibles,
Por esta razón se van a tratar de deshacer de la Biblia,
because the gay people don't like us talking about this.
porque la gente homosexual no le gusta que hablemos de esto.
And to this, the gay person I say, repentete,
Para la gente homosexual les digo
or go to
arrepiéntanse
hell where you're going anyway,
o vayan hacia el infierno donde están yendo,
because I'm going to proclaim the word of God.
porque voy a proclamar la palabra de Dios.
And if you're one of those freaks, get out of it,
Y si eres uno de esos raros, aléjate de eso.
or choose not to do it, whatever you want to do.
Coge no hacerlo, cualquier cosa que quieras hacer.
Okay? The word couples is sometimes the word twos in translation.
La palabra para parejas hay veces que se pone en las traducciones como de dos en dos.
Okay? It is H8147.
Es la palabra hebrea H8147.
It is the Hebrew word shanaim.
Es la palabra hebrea Shanaim.
It means two.
Significa dos.
Okay? And the couples are confirmed by verse 16.
Y también se confirma esto en el versículo 16.
Okay? Let's go on to verse 16.
Siguiente diapositiva, versículo 16. Sorry, no.
Those
Versículo
that
16.
entered went in, male and female, from every kind of living being, as Elohim had ordered him, and Jehovah shut him in. Okay, it's very important to understand that it's the word Elohim,
Es muy importante entender que la palabra es Elohim.
because when Christians say Jesus is all about love,
Porque cuando los cristianos dicen que Jesús es amor,
okay, because in your Bible, in the Spanish translation, it's probably going to say Dios.
Porque en las traducciones hispanas quizá dice Dios.
It is not that word in the Hebrew.
No es esa palabra en el hebreo.
In Hebrew, the word God there is Elohim, and it's H430.
En la palabra, en el hebreo, la palabra Dios es Elohim y es el código H430.
Okay? It is, the word Elohim means rulers or judges
La palabra Elohim significa jueces o gobernantes,
or divine ones.
los divinos.
Okay? Why is that important?
¿Por qué es eso importante?
Because Yeshua is agreeing with the chastisement of the world in the flood.
Porque Yeshua está de acuerdo con el castigo que está pasando en el mundo.
Okay? It's a very important understanding.
Es un importante entendimiento.
Because people will say, well, Yeshua's always been here, right?
Porque la gente va a decir que Yeshua siempre ha estado aquí.
And that's why we say we're legalistic.
Por eso decimos que somos legalistas.
Because we agree with Yeshua.
Porque estamos de acuerdo con Yeshua.
Well, the Christians said Yeshua is all about love.
Los cristianos dicen que Yeshua es todo amor.
Then why did he agree with wiping the world out with the flood?
Entonces, ¿por qué él estuvo de acuerdo con eliminar al mundo con un diluvio?
So it's very important, verse 16, and if you haven't underlined it in your Bible, I think you should.
El versículo 16 es muy importante y deberías señalarlo en tu Biblia si no lo has hecho.
And if you don't have a highlighter, we have about 30 of them over in your box.
Y si no tienes un marcador, pues tenemos muchos en acá.
Okay? You should have things underlined so that you can reference them quickly.
Debes tener las cosas subrayadas para que tú tengas estas referencias a la mano.
Most people don't study the scriptures like this.
La mayoría de gente no estudia las escrituras de esta manera.
Unfortunately, even in the Messianic community.
Desafortunadamente, también en la comunidad mesiánica.
One of the things that was interesting with my conversation with this gentleman on Saturday evening.
Una de las cosas interesantes que pude saber con el caballero que estuve hablando el sábado en la noche.
He showed me pictures from a Messianic congregation in Israel.
Él me mostró fotografías de una congregación mesiánica en Israel.
And I noticed something.
Y noté algo.
They didn't have beards.
No tenían barbas.
They didn't have tzitzit.
No tenían tzitzit.
They knew about Yeshua.
Ellos sabían acerca de Yeshua.
When you don't understand that God does get fed up with us,
Cuando no entiendes que Dios sí se cansa de nosotros.
and the Yeshua does get angry
Y Yeshua sí se enoja.
because it's called disrespect.
Porque se llama falta de respeto.
You know, one of the saddest chapters of the Bible is Jeremiah chapter 1 or chapter 2.
Uno de los capítulos más tristes de la Biblia es Jeremías capítulo 1 o 2.
Where Jehovah says, what did the people find wrong with me that they went and served other gods?
Cuando Jehová dice que encontró la gente de mal en mí, que fueron en busca de otros dioses.
So when you get Elohim angry enough, he does destroy people.
Cuando haces que Elohim se enoje mucho, él va y puede inundar y matar a la gente.
So it's important in verse 16 that if you see the word God in your translation, change it to Elohim.
Es importante saber que en el versículo 16 la palabra para Dios es Elohim, y si tienes la palabra Dios, cambia la palabra que es.
The first word God in verse 16.
La primera palabra que dice Dios en el versículo
Because the second word God is Jehovah.
Porque la segunda es Jehová. So I have God and Lord. So es Dios and Señor.
So Señor would be the Father, that would be Jehovah.
Yeah, Señor sería Jehová, la segunda.
Okay? So the other one is Elohim, that's the Godhead.
El otro es Elohim, el primero que es el Dios cabeza.
It's very important, this understanding, everybody.
Es muy importante, ese entendimiento es muy importante.
Verse 16, next slide.
Versículo 16.
Those that entered went in, male and female, from every kind of living being, as Elohim had ordered him, and Jehovah shut him inside. So here, Jehovah is ordering the family into the ark.
Aquí Jehová está ordenando a la gente que entre al arca.
Now, the reward for obedience
La recompensa por obediencia
is very important, everybody.
es muy importante.
The reward for obedience is when everybody around you is perishing, you're going to be saved.
La recompensa de esto es cuando tú ves que la gente que está alrededor tuyo está muriendo, tú vas a ser salvo.
I trust that Jehovah never changes.
Yo confío en que Jehová nunca cambia.
I believe he is the same yesterday, today, and forever.
Yo creo que Él es el mismo ayer, hoy y siempre.
So when he orders you to do something,
Entonces, cuando Él te ordene hacer una cosa,
like let your beard grow or whatever it is,
como déjate crecer la barba o lo que sea,
but wear the tzitzit for the men,
o ponte que los hombres se vistan con los tzitzis,
and where you can see them,
donde tú puedes mirarlos,
and you wear them in your pants.
y te los pones, los vistes en tus pantalones.
There's a lot in Israel,
O te lo pones dentro de tus pantalones. Hay muchos
in the
en
Messianic community,
Israel, en la congregación mesiánica,
that wear tzitzit in their pants
que visten los tzitzis dentro de sus pantalones,
because they're afraid to show that they're wearing the tzitzit.
porque tienen temor de mostrar que están vistiendo los tzitzit.
So Jehovah said, wear them where you can see them.
Jehová dice, vístelos y deben mirarse.
Yes, Jehovah. Yosef.
Robert's talking about the seats. This is like a conversation that we had with this brother, the one in New York. And he had one day we were talking to him, and one day I see his seats. He has them inside. He has them with him. And I said, why do you wear them inside? He's like, he didn't say much. It's like, are you ashamed of who you are? And he didn't say anything. Then I turned, do you see I have mine outside? It's like, I don't care what people think. I am who I am. And we didn't talk. He didn't say much about it. He tried to change the subject of why he was wearing them inside, but I kind of confronted him. Like, why do you wear them inside? And he didn't argue the situation. I was like,
Well, he was afraid of who he was.
exactly. So,
And that, where does the kippah come from?
yeah.
Can you paraphrase it? I mean, what do you say?
I think these people were here.
Okay.
Lo que quería decir es que muchas personas, hay un compañero, un señor que es ortodoxo. Yo hablaba con él y le preguntaba por qué él usaba sus tzitzis por dentro. Y yo mesiánico, yo le dije, ¿será que estás con miedo de quién tú eres? Yo le dije, porque yo los uso por fuera y eso es nuestro mandato, que debemos usarlo por fuera donde se puedan ver e identificarnos quiénes somos sin tener miedo.
People are afraid to be followers of God.
La gente tiene temor de que somos seguidores de Dios.
And this is where the kippah comes from.
Y de aquí es donde la kippah se origina.
The kippah comes from the 14th century France,
La kippah se originó en el siglo XIV en Francia,
where the Inquisition began,
donde comenzó la Inquisición,
in Portugal and Spain,
en Portugal y en España,
where the Jews were being murdered for who they were.
donde los judíos fueron asesinados por quienes eran.
So your reward for being obedient
Tu recompensa por ser obediente
in every aspect.
en todo aspecto.
Noah and his family was saved.
Noah y su familia fueron salvos.
Now let's go to verse 16 again. We've got 10 more minutes.
Veamos al versículo 16 otra vez.
Those that entered went in, male and female, from every kind of living being, as Elohim had ordered him, and Jehovah shut him inside. So who shuts the door?
¿Quién cerró la puerta? Fue
The
Jehová.
Father closes the door.
El Padre cerró la puerta.
He closed it behind him.
Él lo cerró detrás de él.
Okay? Now the word close is H5462.
La palabra cerrar es H5462.
It is the Hebrew word sagar.
Esa palabra sagar
Means to shut,
significa cerrar.
close,
Cerrar. Hold on, let me see synonyms. No, I know, but there are synonyms. It's not just cerrar, cerrar, cerrar. Encerrar, cerrar, apagar, acabar.
Okay, and then the next part, number
This is
3,
funny. Okay.
closely joined.
Unido, cerca, joined.
Closely joined, like your hands are joined together.
Yeah. Juntados cerca o cerrados, joined.
Why is that important?
¿Por qué es importante?
Because those that are joined to Jehovah will be saved.
Porque aquellos que están juntos a Jehová
He will protect you.
te protegerá
And He knows your heart.
y Él conoce tu corazón.
He knows what you're thinking.
Él sabe qué estás pensando.
He hears your thoughts.
Él escucha tus pensamientos.
He knows whether you're being obedient on the outside and also on the inside.
Él sabe si estás siendo obediente dentro y fuera.
This is why Yeshua said you should love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength.
Por eso es que Yeshua dice que tú debes amar al Señor tu Dios con tu mente, alma, corazón y espíritu.
Last slide that we're going to go through over today.
Hold on, Robert. For closely joined is estrechamente unido.
Okay, one more
Okay.
time in verse 16.
Para el verso 16 otra vez.
Those that entered went in, male and female, from every kind of living being as Elohim had ordered him, and Jehovah shut him inside. So Jehovah shut him inside,
Jehová lo cerró.
and he closed the door behind.
Cerró la puerta detrás.
Okay, behind is H1157.
Detrás es H1157.
It is the Hebrew word ba'ad.
Esa palabra ba'ad
It means behind,
significa detrás,
on behalf of.
de parte de. Wow.
Okay, so let's just do those two.
Hagamos esto solo esos.
Jehovah shuts the door
Jehová cerró la puerta
after him,
después detrás de él.
meaning Noach was the last one who entered
Que
the ark.
significa que Noah fue el último que entró en el arca.
His family entered in before him,
Su familia entró delante de él
and the door was shut by Jehovah
y la puerta fue cerrada por Jehová
to keep the waters out,
para mantener el agua fuera,
to keep all inside the ark safe,
para mantener todo lo que estaba dentro del arca a salvo,
to shut others out,
para alejar a todos otros, dejar a otros afuera,
and to preserve Noach from the rage of the wicked.
y para preservar a Noah del odio de los malvados.
Because now these people are going to be angry.
Porque ahora esta gente van a estar enojada.
They're going to try to break in.
Van a tratar de entrar a la fuerza.
So Jehovah, no, they're not just going to be trying to get in.
No solo van a tratar de entrar,
They're going to be angry.
van a estar enojados.
Yeah, they're going to want to kill you
Van a tratar de matarte.
because they're going to try to blame you.
Porque van a tratar de culparte a ti.
So here Jehovah shuts Noach and the family in safety.
Aquí Jehová cierra a Noah y a su familia en el arca por su seguridad.
And he shuts those out that don't want to follow.
Y cierra a aquellos que no quieren seguirlo.
So with the times that are coming
Entonces, con los tiempos que se acercan
to live together,
para vivir juntos,
you have to be echad with Jehovah.
vas a tener que estar unido con Jehová.
You have to be echad with the Word of God.
Vas a tener que estar unido con la palabra de Dios.
Because he is a righteous tower.
Porque Él es la torre justa.
He is a strong tower.
Él es la torre fuerte.
And the righteous run into it and are saved.
Y los justos corren hacia ella buscando seguridad.
This is why we're studying this so long.
Por esto es que estudiamos así.
I implore everybody to get your life straight with Jehovah.
Les imploro a todos que arreglen su situación con Jehová.
Because he knows your heart
Porque Él conoce tu corazón
and how disgusting it is.
y cuán terrible es. Repugnante.
Because inside of our hearts lives good and evil.
Porque dentro de nuestros corazones vive el bien y el mal.
He preserved those that were obedient.
Él preserva o protege a aquellos que están, aquellos que le siguen.
Dad closed the door to preserve his children.
El papá cerró la puerta para proteger a sus hijos.
Isn't everybody his children?
No son todos sus hijos.
Yeah, he created everybody.
Él creó a todos,
But there are those that walk with the Lord
pero hay aquellos que caminan con el Señor
and listen to his commandments.
y escuchan a sus mandamientos.
All right. That's a wrap for this study. Any
Este es-
questions in the room or comments? Carmen!
Preguntas en el
Give her the
rap.
microphone so everybody can hear her. Before the rain started. Anybody else?
¿Alguna pregunta más?
Anybody on Skype? Put your hand up.
¿Preguntas en Skype?
Anybody on WebEx?
¿Preguntas en Webex?
All right, let's close in prayer.
Cerremos en oración.
Thank you, Lord, for your blessings today. Thank you, Lord, for your steadfastness. Thank you, Lord, for your knowledge and your understanding. Thank you, Lord, for your profound word. You're so amazing, Jehovah Elohim. May we draw closer to you and desire to delve further into your word and gain this insightful knowledge. In your name, Yeshua. Amen. Shalom. This is Messianic Rabbi Andrew Dinnerman. I would personally like to thank you for tuning in to the Remnant's Call each and every week. You can listen to the full message on our website, bethgoyim.org. If you have drawn closer to the King of Kings, learned more about Him today, we are blessed. If you are blessed by these messages, please consider a donation to our ministry. You can go to our website, bethgoyim.org. That's BETHGOYIM.org. And click on the donate button. You do not have to have a PayPal account to donate. All you need is a debit card. Once again, thank you very much for listening to The Remnant's Call. If you have not taken your first steps to be born again, just ask God's help. Remember, it's His loving grace that has come to find you. No one is worthy or able to reach God, but God can reach us, and He's reaching out to you now. Just open your heart and let Him in. His arms are open, and the blessing of salvation and eternal life are waiting for you. Don't let it wait any longer. Ya Adonai, panavoleka, vikuneka, Yisa Adonai, panavoleka, vayasem lecha, shalom. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord lift His face to shine upon you. May the Lord be gracious unto you and give you His shalom. Shalom. My name is Messianic Rabbi Andrew Dinnerman, and I invite you to come to visit our congregation. If you are in the tri-state area, come out and visit with us on Shabbat. We are a congregation of Jews and Gentiles, living as one in the Messiah Yeshua. Bgmc is a place of true worship. The focus never wanders from the Hebraic roots of our faith. Beth Goyim is rooted in the Word of God from Bereshit through to the book of Revelation. Messiah's strong words against man-made tradition are carefully recorded in Matthew 7. That is the reason we only follow the straight-up instructions found in Scripture, truly the way, the truth, and the life. If you're looking for a deeper walk with Adonai, come out for our Tuesday evening Bible study called Messianic Torah Time. Come, spend a day with us on any Shabbat. We start at 11 a.m. with the sound of the ancient Hebrew shofar. Next, we offer our King praise and worship in English, Hebrew, and Spanish. After worship, we review the headlines in the previous week's news from around the globe, especially news from the Holy Land, Israel. We don't just list the news headlines as current events, but we comb through the scriptures, searching for clues to understand what they mean and then to help pinpoint prophetically our current position on Adonai's clock. After digesting all that modern information, we leave the world behind as we journey with our Adonai deep into his eternal word, not with just 1 or 2 scriptures, but usually 7 or more scriptures. The spiritual nourishment and the richness of his kingdom become accessible to the ones who share this special time and seek them out. The day does not end there. Because Shabbat is so special to him, there is always so much more that our King desires to share. So instead of separating and leaving, we stay together as a family for potluck lunch and an afternoon study of our King's Word. We close the Shabbat together with the reading of the new week's Parasha. That's the Torah portion. Even after those blessings, many of us just can't get enough. So the members bring prepared homemade foods to share while we all enjoy an uplifting movie together. If all that information is not quite enough, you can check out our website where you will find over 200 video teachings and biblical holy day studies. Under Messianic Torah Time, the Hebrew Roots button, you'll discover free studies on many, many different topics, including PowerPoint slide presentations. If Beth Goyim sounds like a place you'd love to visit, but you live outside the tri-state area, there is still a way to connect with us. We stream live on the internet on Tuesday, Thursday, and Shabbat. The website is www.bethgoyim.org. That's BETHGOYIM.org. Our phone number is 973-338-7800 or 978-2-YESHUA. That's 978, the number 2, Yeshua. Shalom.